So, first of all, I wanted to point out how it can be really impactful, this relationship, father and daughter, in many different life areas. So it can be the family life area, relationship, um, regarding the relationship with children, or of course with close relationships, with partners, and also in the life area of career, in the workplace. It's really impactful in that area. So the first example around relationships, it's what I can see is that root issue of self-worth, of not having that sense of self-worth, of not feeling valued or seen by their father. Then there's that actions that are taken by the woman to compensate the lack of attention, lack of love from their father. So, maybe as a child, you haven't felt uh, seen, heard, loved by your father. So maybe he wasn't available enough to you physically because not there, or emotionally as well, maybe, not available emotionally. So what we can see a lot, of course, it's because men won't connect to their feminine side as much as women. It's in their genes already, and then the role in society, their role in society has participated in that as well. The lack of connection to their emotions, to their feminine side, and because a lot of men are not able to connect to their emotions, they are going to compensate that with addictions. So maybe, addicted to television, addicted to drugs, alcohol, to work. A lot of men can be workaholics, addicted to sports as well. Uh, um, because of not being able to be at ease with their feminine side, they men can be tempted to compensate and go more into the masculine side of performance, performing, and yeah, around sports and work, a place where they feel at ease and where the emotions are not are not as important. So that's a way, to escape from that feminine side. And so as a result, men, specifically from previous generations, might have been um, might have had difficulty to connect fully to their partners, to their wife, but also to their daughters, to their daughter, because of not recognizing in them that feminine side. And consequently, you know, um, being the daughter of an um, unavailable father, you can have the tendency to um, overdo, to compensate by doing too much, overgiving to get the attention of that father. So it can be really playing out in your relationships with your children, maybe, to as a mother, maybe you can get into sacrifice mode, giving because you want to receive the love of your children in return, and you feel that you need to give a lot to them to receive it back, because when you were a child, you didn't receive the love that you needed or that you felt you deserved. So that can be a way how this dynamic is playing out in your life. Or also, it can play out in your partnerships, maybe attracting men that are not available emotionally. So they're not going to connect to you fully emotionally, and you will feel maybe a lack of balance between giving and receiving. And also, I've seen that a lot in the workplace. And that's where I can also testify, my own experience in working as an employee, in different companies. What I see is a lot of women that will tend to overdo, step out of their um, contract, their professional contract, and doing much more, what's not, um, what hasn't been agreed in the first place, and overdoing, always thinking that they will get rewarded later on, either a promotion or a pay rise, or even just recognition from their colleagues, the managers. And you can see often a big difference between men and women in the workplace, where you have a lot of men who are more like confident with their value, with their talents, and they will stick to the task and what they're being asked for to do, and they will do it well, and they will often, get the promotion and the pay increase and all that, and that's really good. I'm not judging that, because that's the way um, that's the way to do it in big in companies, in the workplace. That's how it's actually healthy to be. It's really to connect to your value, to feel valuable, and to know that to know your self-worth, and to actually really um, do things because you enjoy them, and that's what's um, asked for, and then everyone is happy. There's a healthy relationship between the, the employee and the employer. So that's the best case scenario. But it's true, what I can see with a lot of women is that because they do a lot of things, they take a lot of actions from that place, that kind of needy place of wanting something back in return. There's like an agenda behind taking actions, and and being scared of not receiving back in return as well. There's always that fear of doing and without receiving. And so then they will get into sacrifice mode of over giving without receiving at all. Because why that? Because as you know, when you give to someone having in mind that you want something back in return, it's really controlling and manipulative, and it creates a block for the other person, kind of feeling resistant to give. That's so it actually creates the opposite um, of what's wanted in the first place. So, so when once you've observed that in yourself, that pattern of not feeling worthy and haven't felt seen, heard, or loved by your father, once you can connect your life circumstances, your life situation to um, that childhood relationship, then you can see the next step, of course, is to find solutions, um, for your life to get better. So you always observe things to actually then get the solutions. So then the way to do it is actually to observe yourself in your everyday life and see how you do things, how you take actions in your life. If, especially in your relationships and at work as well, in your relationships with other colleagues or partners, or with your managers, just see if you actually taking action from an empowered place and it's connected to your true desires and to that strong desire to feel joy. It makes you really joyful to do that, and so you do it from a place of empowerment and of creator. You create the life you want, that you enjoy, and so you do things because you really enjoy doing them. It comes from a genuine place of enjoying life and doing things that you really love doing. I know that, in the workplace, it's not always possible. You can be in that energy of obligation, especially, you have an employment contract, so you have things that you need to do. So you can be tempted to be in that um, obligation mode or thinking, that you're not at choice. But as you know, we always at choice in our life, and we can choose to see our life through that lens of empowerment and being at choice. So you can actually live your life as an employee, feeling free and empowered to do things the way you want them to do them. So it's important. The vision you have is really important, the way you do things. Um, so, in all the different relationships in your life, in your everyday life, if you observe yourself and and see the pattern and see how you can shift your inner beliefs of how you actually do things, and without doing things for others, waiting something back in return, and also being open to receive from others without trying to control it, just letting go of control. So that's really the first step, to change that vision and to let go of that inner child pattern of, you know, feeling unworthy, feeling unseen, unheard, and searching for the attention and the love of your father. Can really start transforming that pattern and doing things from your creative space, from a space of joy inside of you, knowing that you have the power to choose what you want to do, and doing things you really enjoy actually creates that space of letting go of any expectations. And then you will be more open to receive from others who can give to you from the same space. It's not as conditional, and it's not the giving and receiving is actually, more natural. There's no control manipulation behind it. And that flow of giving and receiving is how you can, create that healthy space in your relationships. So I hope this video resonates with you. If it's the case, please share it with others and subscribe to the channel if you want to know more, have more clarity on your path, gain more consciousness. And if you feel drawn to having a session with me, please feel free to send me an email or a message through WhatsApp. I'm going to leave you my contact details underneath the video. What I do a lot in the Akashic Records, it's actually relationship sessions where I do clearings of blocks and restrictions in specific relationships, and I do the clearing of the relationship father and daughter. And it can bring a lot of clarity, consciousness, and letting go, and a lot of forgiveness as well. Understanding your father and understanding that relationship from inside, and it can give you a lot of closure, and then you can really let go of any expectations in your relationships. I see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.